Do you want to make animations like these in CapCut that look like they came from Premiere Pro? Well, welcome to the right video. Let's go over to the CapCut and let's start making this exact edit. So here we are in CapCut and let's start making the scene. First of all, drag this black stone into the scene. As you can see, it doesn't look very good. So let's drag this vignette as well. And let's scale this vignette up to match the entire scene. Now go over to the adjustments and drag down the saturation all the way down. And as well as brightness to fit because currently it looks a little grayish. And something like this would be perfect. Okay, so now drag this ground in between the vignette and our background, and let's position it all the way down. So what we're going to do right now is going to be doing color grading, but color grading, unfortunately, in CapCut is a pro feature, so we're really not going to be touching that much. I mean, we're not going to be touching that at all. So drag the brightness like here, put the contrast all the way like up, and drag the saturation all the way down because this here is black and white and our background and our ground should be also black and white. We don't really want any color. So just make sure the saturation is all the way down. Okay, maybe the shadow a little bit down and something like this would be all right. Perfect. Now drag our CapCut logo into the scene. Let's scale it down a little bit so it looks all right. And let's put it where we want it to be once it hits the ground. Something like this would be all right. Now go over to the video and then create a first keyframe. Something like this. Create another keyframe here and go ahead and manipulate the first one by clicking here to select the first one and then click this logo and drag it all the way up. Now if I hit play, we can see that our logo falls down, but it doesn't look very natural. So what you're going to do is right click this image, go to show keyframe animation, select Y because we're manipulating Y position of our image in keyframes, and select any of these. Put here an auto curve. So start slow and speed up as it's about to hit the ground. So something like this, because this simulates gravity. Start slow and speeds up. Maybe something like this would be perfect. There we go. So now this doesn't feel like it's hitting anything. Let's go over here to the ground and create another keyframe. Let me zoom in a little bit. Once we have created the keyframe, let's go 2 frames forward, create another keyframe, and drag the Y position of the ground up. Now go another 2 frames, copy this one, and just paste it here at another 2 frames. And now if I hit play, we can see, but just make sure that these are at the impact point or when our image hits the ground. So something like this. And as you can see, this looks good. Well, maybe this background feels a little sluggish, so let's just drag this like this. And now it feels much better. But once the object, usually in real life, once the object hits the ground, there's a little bit of a bounciness to it. So what we're going to be doing is also adding some bounciness as well. So go again 2 frames forward, create another keyframe, and 2 frames forward, create another keyframe. This one here will be manipulated so it's a little up. So something like this, so it jumps up with the ground. And let's see how it looks like. Yep, it looks absolutely amazing. And we're halfway there. All we gotta do is add the smoke effect. Now drag the smoke effect, and as you can see, we want the smoke effect to start as soon as this hits the ground. And it hits the ground right around here. So what we're gonna be doing is after we have done this, go to the blend mode and select screen. Now, as you can see, if I hit play, we can see that there's smoke going up. But instead of smoke going up, we're gonna be doing some positioning and speeding up. So first of all, speed up the smoke to feel it a little bit more natural and drag this smoke a little shorter to match our clip size. And here is the full thing. As you can see, it goes down, it drops, and now there's smoke coming out of our logo. Perfect. Now, after we have done this, you can also add the particles of snow falling from the top. So we're going to be doing just that. So drag this snow particles into the scene and make it shorter. Now select this again, go over to the cutout and enable chroma key. Now click this color picker, pick a color, and then adjust the strength accordingly to show these stars. Now, make sure that the length of this and the size matches the video. And here is kind of how it looks like. As you can see, we now have things falling from the top. Perfect. So now what we're going to be doing is export this video, and then we'll move over to the second phase, which is how to do zoom-ins. Let's go. And after you have exported this video, you can drag it here. And if I hit play, you can see that this is a video. This is a little bit of a different video, but it's pretty much exactly the same thing. I've just done this before, and I've done it before the recording. Okay, so what now? Well, first things first, we want this thing to be zoomed in. So we want to create a keyframe right around here and zoom in a little bit. But before we zoom in, let's create another keyframe here as it's about to hit it. So as it's about to hit the center, create another keyframe, and let's set this one like a little in, like 2%. And as you can see, it starts going in. Now, once it hits it, I want to immediately start attacking and going in. So what I want to do is create a keyframe here and create a keyframe here. But before I do that, make sure that this one has also a position keyframe to not mess something up. After you have done that, just zoom in to where you want it to be, maybe something like this, and put it right here. The reason why the bad quality is because CapCut will usually do this to give you a smoother playback, but after the video is exported, this is actually pretty good. So if I hit play, you can see that we have start zoom, and now we zoom in like this. But it does not look good. So again, right click, show keyframe animation, then select the scale first of all, select this one, select the auto curve, select this one, and select the auto curve as well. Now do this for pretty much every one of these. So for the X as well, select both of these keyframes and add the auto curve. And for the Y position as well, select these and do the auto curve on both of them. And here is the full thing. As you can see, it looks a little smoother and a little better. We can now drag this a little bit forward to make it even smoother. But something like this would be perfect. Now, after this is all zoomed in, what we want to do is we want to first of all hide the keyframe animation so it doesn't bother us. We want the text to pop in. But how is going to text pop in because it's going to be visible, and how can we put text behind this after the video is exported? Well, there's actually a solution to that. Just drag this one again into the scene and see this keyframe. You want to copy this keyframe and paste this keyframe right here, like so. After you have pasted this keyframe, you basically want to put it here where you want the show text to be shown and shorten this video to that keyframe, something like this. Now put the keyframe to the beginning. And now you won't even notice that there is another clip overlaying it. Now go over here, go to the mask, put the horizontal, and drag like this to the 90 degrees. And put it right here at the edge of this logo. Perfect. After you have done this, you're halfway there. Now go over here, go text, and drag the text in between those two. Put the text here and put it to the length of the entire video. Now put here CapCut and choose a font. I'm going to use something like Rubik. Make sure that the font size is all right and make sure that it can be fit into the scene. And what I like to do is instead of doing the color grading and color match, I just drag the opacity a little bit down so it matches the entire scene. Perfect. After you've done that, you create a keyframe to make this text pop. So how are we going to do that? Well, create another keyframe here. Create another keyframe for when you want it to be shown. So something like this. And select the first keyframe and just drag it here behind it. And that's really about that. And if I hit play, you can see that it appears. But it doesn't appear smoothly, so what we're going to do is, again, do the keyframe animation. So right-click on it, show keyframe animation. We're only manipulating X position, so only move to the X. And select it so that it starts fast and it slows down. So here is, So here is how it looks like. Amazing. And that's pretty much about that. So let's see the full thing. Exactly the one that I've shown you. And you can see how CapCut is a powerful tool, and it can definitely be a substitute to Premiere Pro and Adobe After Effects. And that will be about that. Thank you so much for watching yet another CapCut tutorial. And as always, stay safe and peace.